two, one, and boom. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Hello. How are you?
Yes, good. How you feeling today?
Good. So good to connect finally.
I know, dude. Yeah. It was my
Yeah.
bad. Like last month, I was like, "Oh, yeah, you ready?" He's like, "Oh, wait, it's October." I was like, "Oh, yeah, I forgot."
I know. I've just been so scattered, right? It's been such a busy time, but I'm so glad we were able to get this on the calendar.
100%. No, yes, yeah. First off, thank you, mahalo. Thank you for just being here in general. You know what I'm saying?
Of
I know you're super
course.
busy and you got a whole bunch of stuff going on, but yeah, yeah, just want to just talk story. First and foremost, get to know you, and also just introduce you to my circle and vice versa. Kind of just cross pollinating our circles and stuff. So we're both
Yeah.
on this mission to help parents. So I'm just super stoked to have you on. And yeah, main topic would be building movement within our busy day as parents. So yeah, if you don't mind just sharing your top three movement tips. But first, kind of introducing who you are, where you're from and what you do as far as making an impact within this parent circle that we have here.
Oh, of course. Okay. Well, my name is Christy and I'm in California too. Um, and I'm from California. I know, I think you're from Hawaii, right?
Yeah, I'm in
Yeah.
Sacramento now. I was living in the Bay for about 6 years, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I'm in the Bay Area and I'm a marriage and family therapist. I work in the schools right now. So I work with elementary kids, K through 5, which is really fun age. And a big part of my job and sort of what spurred parent self-care is I work on educator and parent wellness because we know the better that the adults in kids' lives take care of themselves, the healthier they show up at school and home.
Mhm.
And so it was really just sort of this mission to support parents, but also to just do preventative work for our kids and create healthier school environments. And that's one of my favorite parts of my job. And so I was wanting to do more with that, which sort of spurred on parent self-care. But yeah, and I've got two little ones. I've got a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. So that's what keeps me really busy right now. I know you've got kids too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a little bit about my background.
Cool, right on. Yeah, and then I saw you're in San Mateo.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I was living in South City for South City, Daly City. So we're like neighbors for. I just moved to Elk Grove back in March, right when the pandemic or the shelter in place hit. So yeah,
Okay.
we're basically neighbors, dude. But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
actually coming back this weekend. But yeah, so it's super exciting. Just super stoked that we just pretty much align as far as like who we want to serve and how we want to serve. Because I want to help parents, with young children, mainly they're 2 to 7 years old. Because that's when they start formulating their reality, I guess, right? Seeing
Yeah.
what's normal and whatnot. So, and I want to help just parents get healthy and fit within their parameters. You know what I'm saying? And then they're creating
Yeah.
movement memories with their kids. So then generationally down the line, if and when they have kids, it was like, oh, I remember that time with mom. I had so much fun with her doing, playing basketball or
Yeah.
running around in the park. I want to do that with my kids. So there, you're planting the seed of movement. But one big thing that comes across with not only moms but just parents in general is I don't have the time, right? So
Right.
it's like here we want to transition into just getting movement and also kind of talk about that book you're reading, Burnout, as far as like them discussing about just adding movement into your day as far as like mental health and kind of releasing that energy and stuff like that, or even gaining energy. But
Right.
yeah, so kind of just kind of discuss, maybe you want a free flow or the top three, tips that you give. Basically, just kind of, if a parent comes to say, I'm too busy, I don't know how to add movement into my day, I can't work out. What would you kind of say to this parent coming to you?
Sure. I'm gonna say hi, I'm Man Therapy Inc. Nice to see you. He's gonna be a daddy. It's good to talk with you as a dad today too, because I think I notice on your page you really serve moms, which is wonderful. And then I'm parent self-care, but the majority of people that I interact with are moms. So it's cool to talk with a dad too and get a dad's perspective.
Yeah.
And I'll share definitely some tips and about the book. And then I'd love to hear from you too, because I really feel like this is your area of expertise.
Mhm.
So I'd love to hear about how you support parents in that way too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, this is the book I'm reading. I love it. Brene Brown's podcast just came out and these authors were on there. And Emily, I had it upside down. Emily Nagoski is on Instagram and it's called Burnout. And I think we're all experiencing and going in and out of burnout right now with the pandemic. I think it's pretty unavoidable, especially for parents. So we don't really need the research to tell us this, but the research does show that parents with kids under the age of 18 in the home are significantly more stressed than people who have kids who are over 18 out of the home or maybe don't have children. And that came from the American Psychological Association. So what they talk about in their book is that there's these 7 different ways to help us complete that stress cycle, because there may be things going on in our day and we can't complete that stress cycle. Maybe you're on a conference call and your boss is being sort of a jerk and you're not quite sure how you're going to handle that. And so you sort of shove that anger down, get through the call, maybe regroup with someone and figure out what you're going to do. But we need a way to complete that stress cycle and let those feelings out so we don't get stuck in that burnout stage. And they say the best thing for that is physical movement. So I know for us as therapists, if we're working with a case that's really challenging for us, really sad for us, or maybe we're dealing with some clients that are very difficult or adversarial, I will literally, because I supervise interns as well, I will shake it out. I will literally shake it out with my body, and try to let some of that energy go and have that separation of like, this was my meeting with my client, now I'm going back into this part of my day. So I think building in those moments for releasing that tension and stress is so important. And what they talk about in this book is that it doesn't have to be, and I think you're probably on the same page here, it doesn't need to be a run for 10 miles. You don't have to be sweating. You don't need to be a CrossFitter like to get these benefits. It could even be just sort of tensing your muscles for 10 seconds and relaxing them. It could be stretching at the end of the day. It could be some gentle yoga. It could be a walk, or it could be a run. I know for me, having little ones, I know it's good for them to get outside to help them rest and do all the things they need to do and take care of their emotions. So I got a scooter when the pandemic hit, so I scoot with them now. Or if I'm wanting to run because I feel like running and they're too big to be in strollers, I'll have them scoot and I'll run behind them. So sometimes you can find those ways to work it into your day so it's not something completely separate that needs to be carved out.
Nice. No, yeah, it's super powerful. Yeah, because especially for me, I have my rooted daily habits as far as parenting and everything. So one of it is just having that, I guess like random movement memories. So there, it's like say like kids say, "Oh, I want to play," and then you have some things to do, but you have that little window like 2 or 3 minutes. It's like instead of being stressed, like, oh, no, I gotta do this. It's like, okay, cool. Let me just drop it real quick and then just move and play. Even if it's like a little dance party, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or if you're just like rolling around on the ground and just getting that 2 or 3 minutes to just kind of release that stress. And then there you kind of work on your breathing real quick and then get back to what you want to do. Because then if you want to hold on to that, you're like, no, I can't. And then now the child's feeling stressed. And then there's, oh, mom, or that doesn't play with me. Oh, this up. But then there's like just kind of just attending to them. They're for a quick 2 minutes. It's gonna actually work because that's what I did this week. I felt like there's times like, oh no, not right now. But I still had that little window. It's like, oh hey, real quick, okay, let's move around and let's just jump around and play. And then we're actually jumping and shaking and all the good stuff. And one thing I like to do as far as like if you don't know what to do with your kids, it's like, oh, move around and let me copy you. And then so there's like just mirroring or like I call it a copy me. So it's like, oh, okay. And then Elijah says, okay, copy me. So you copy him for like 20 seconds. Like you're moving, you're smiling, and your mood shifts because your state shifts, right? So there your physical self shifts, and then it shifts your emotional and also spiritual self. So love that. Yeah, and then as far as the habits is also like really carving out like at least 15 minutes of like uninterrupted playtime. So then there, like kids can, like Elijah, it's usually either 10:30 or 11, depending on his schooling. But it's like, all right, 11 o'clock, it's playtime. So there, he looks forward to something, Monday through Friday, where it's like, oh, okay, cool. It's like, all right, I get to have fun with dad. I get to have fun with mom. So there's like kind of freestyling but also being structured. So I think he did a post maybe last week or a week ago, 2 weeks ago, you said about boundaries, having the flexible boundaries, the rigid boundaries. So then there you can actually, I love that post because like, oh man, that's what I do with movement with Elijah. It's like, okay, we have structure, but we also have the freestyle action. So, and then, going outside is super key. Like I'm all into like earthing and, feeling the outdoors and everything. It's just from physical, spiritual, and just mental, emotional state being outside and seeing, well, now we have blue skies because the smoke's gone. But
Right.
yeah, dude, I was super bummed when freaking the smoke was happening, dude. I was like, oh man, everything's 2020, no. But
Yes.
yeah, just like having, going, especially with, distance learning now, looking at the screen so much. Here we can actually have the eye nourishment from seeing the clouds, the sky, and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as guys transitioning into kind of just say for parents to say, okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, 15 minutes. Okay, freestyle. But when would I actually do that? Like, would you give parents kind of instruction as to, oh, we got Elijah and little coming through.
Oh no.
How would you kind of just, what tips and advice would you kind of give parents if they really say, oh yeah, that's cool, but I really don't have any time? Yeah. How would
Is
you
it more time to connect and play with your kids, or you mean time for them to have movement in their day by themselves?
I guess first would be connecting with their kids, and then number two would be just movement in general.
Yeah, I think I love what you talked about. I like the phrases that you're using in terms of movement memories and eye nourishment. Those are nice phrases. So the 15 minutes that you talked about, I love that. That's one of the biggest tips that we give for parents. And the way I was introduced to it is calling it special time from Hand in Hand Parenting. And they say it can even be 5 minutes. So it doesn't have to be 15 every day. It could be 30, right? And some days it's going to be 5. But I think for a lot of us who are home right now with our kids, especially younger ones, it's okay. We get tired of playing the same imaginative game over and over again. And they're like, I really don't want to play like, dinosaurs and monsters again. And there's this fear of if we start playing with our kids, it's going to go on forever and we're going to get bored and irritated and it's just going to become frustrating. So I think setting up that parameter with your kids is helpful, whether it's 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or 30 minutes. And I have been a big fan of having timers that kids can control. At about 5, they can do it. And so they can set it for what you said. And when it goes off, like, oh, the timer went off, it's time to transition to something else. And you would think they would get it, that it's just this arbitrary timer that's going off, but it seems to really help most kids. And it's not necessarily coming from you. You set the boundary, but it's sort of separate from you. And this separate object set a timer that said it's time to stop and transition to something else. So I think that's been helpful too. And then I think it relaxes us as parents because you're like, okay, I'm not entering 45 minutes of playing dinosaurs.
Yeah.
It's 15 minutes. And when kids get to lead and be in control, like you said, you played the game where you copy them. They love that, and that's so empowering for them, and that helps them process a lot of the stress and all these things right now that are not in our control, that they're at home in front of these computers instead of with their friends. That's a lot for our little ones to process. It's a lot for us. So I think it's helpful for them too, and that can help them work through all these different things that are going on.
Nice. No, yeah, and then I love that because that's what we do with our we set on Alexa. So that's what I do. It's like, okay, Elijah, set 15 minutes on the timer. It's like, oh, Alexa, set 15 minutes on the timer. And he's like, all right, let's go. And yeah, he's like super juiced. He's like, all right, we got to have as much fun as we can within these 15 minutes. Oh, there he is. What's up?
Hello.
How you doing? Say what's up, Nancy.
How old are you?
6.
6?
Yeah, 6.
6. My daughter is 6 too.
Oh, what?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about playtime. What time is playtime usually?
11.
11.
11. You know it and you look forward to it.
Yeah, nice. What's your favorite movement game right now that we're playing?
Playing
Which one?
Snail.
Snail Bob 2? All right. How about you give me another 15 to 20 minutes and then later we can play, okay? Sounds good? Okay, perfect. Nice. Yeah, so yeah. Oh yeah, so this the parameters and everything. Yeah, that's super powerful because then like you said, it's like, oh man, how long am I gonna be here? And then yeah, so basically yeah, even like setting parameters and it gets structure for them, but also it gets them excited. It's like, oh okay, I'm juiced to play for this 15 minutes of goodness, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, and then as far as going into parents thinking that they don't have any time for themselves to even what I call movement meditation. So whenever you work out or train, that's a form of meditation for me, right? Because you're focused on
right.
You're actually juiced on movement. Yeah, so I guess just what would you kind of tell parents or kind of help them guide them towards carving out some time for themselves as far as movement meditation or movement practice?
Yeah, and I think it's so important, and I think there's different phases of our life where we have more time for it. And parenthood really shifts that, right? So I think about what I usually tell parents to start with is think about something you like to do, so it's not drudgery, and also sort of expand your definition of working out. So I'm very much about moving your body for mental health and not for like the diet culture or losing weight or things like that. That's really important to me. So you're going to be more likely to stick to it if you like it. And sometimes if people have no idea where to start, you can think about too what you did as a kid that you liked, because we often stop playing sports or doing things we did as a kid because homework or more important things or work took over. I know for me, when I was younger, I did a lot of tap dancing. And so once I had my kids, I had a mom friend and we found a class for adults and we started doing that again. So I love doing that. So you can sort of go back and think about what are the things I used to do that I loved that maybe didn't stay as a priority as I got older. Think about things you like to do, brainstorm things.
Mhm.
And so then I think you have to figure out how that's now going to fit in with having kids. So sometimes there's less time for things you love, but you find other things. And then we had the pandemic come in. So there were things we were like used to doing even with our kids and feeling really good about it. And then we couldn't do those things anymore. So I think for me, I really like working out with other people in a class environment. I'm not as much of like a home yoga on the TV. I'd much rather be in the park with people right now doing that, but I can't always. So I still do like yoga, and that's something that I can access, for free on YouTube, or you can, find different programs or things on Instagram, but start with things that you like. And then really expand your definition of working out. Like I said, you don't have to be sweating, doing it for a certain amount of time. And you can break it up. So if you've got 5 minutes here or there, all of that is great. You don't have to wait until you have 30 minutes to do something. So I think that can be helpful for people, just to not be so rigid around what their boundary is of getting a quote unquote good workout in.
Oh no, yeah, I love that, because my business, or my first life mission, I guess, business is Positive High System. So basically, my whole thing was tapping into what you enjoy. So kind of just if it's basketball, it's like, oh, okay, cool, go get into basketball again. And then the beautiful thing is you can teach your kids about basketball, so then you can get them involved. Or even just if you were interested in something like, say, yoga, it's like, okay, discover your positive high. So discover yoga, like try it out. You know what I'm saying? And then also, so you got discovery part, which is trying something new that you've always wanted to try. And the beautiful thing is once you get into it, it's like, oh, okay, let me actually let my kids in. And,
right.
or even, rediscover. So rediscover your positive high. Like for me, it's basketball. It's like, oh, shoot, Elijah's getting a little older. He has better hand-eye coordination. Like I'm teaching him how to dribble now. So then I'm bringing back the good memories, the joy of movement of playing basketball. It's like, oh, okay, cool. And then now as the park down the road actually put the rims back up. So I'm going to take him go shooting and stuff. So it's going to be a pretty good adventure as far as like now discovering, having him discover basketball, all this other stuff. And then we've been doing capoeira together since he was like 4 or 3, I think. Yeah, so so we've been doing that movement practice together, and he's now doing a ninja class at this gymnastics spot. And he's like, oh, this is kind of like capoeira. So here, like it's just kind of also just nourishing their movement in general, kind of just getting them, because there's so much goodness that comes with movement, not only from neurotransmitters, all the dopamine, all the good stuff, but also it's like their hand-eye coordination, and just them, it can translate into better movement if they want to get into sports in the future and stuff like that. So then and also, like I said earlier, as far as like having them see what's normal as far as movement. So then if they see, mommy and daddy just, sitting down and laying down all day, and then they just think like, okay, this is just what people do. But then if you kind of see movement in general, just running, walking, crawling, just moving in general, like, oh, okay, cool. This is what people do. So then they're want to incline to do it in the future, as far as like, oh, go outside and play. Why are you on your laptop all day? Go outside and play. So kind of you're guiding them within that example of movement. So and it's fun because you love it. Like, I'm having fun dribbling the basketball with them for like 30-40 minutes, dude. But other than that, so basically within the children, setting parameters and having them choose the game, and also setting parameters as far as time, which gets them juiced, gets them excited. And then also within the parent themselves, kind of carving out time and really just tapping into what they love doing back in the day, right? So then they
Yeah.
can tap into what they call their positive high, right? Or even
Yes.
the joy of movement. So, but no, yeah, that's all super powerful tips and stuff as far as getting into movement in the day. As far as going back to the book Burnout, I want to recommend a book too, Joy
Yeah.
of Movement. Yeah, Joy of Movement. Shoot, I fully forget the author's name. Oh,
Sergio.
oh, you got it. There you go. Yeah. Boom.
We're so
Yes.
in sync.
Yeah. Boom. You got it.
Kelly
yeah.
McGonigal.
Yeah.
Dr. Kelly McGonigal.
Yes.
She's
there
out
you go. I was
from
like Kelly
Stanford.
something.
So she's
Yep.
local for us.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, and then I started reading her stuff, and I was like, everything she like actually is putting in this book and speaking about is everything I've been like kind of promoting, preaching, and living, and also
Yes.
just you know, not only joy of movement, but also like being outside and actually getting outside to
Right.
to enjoy outdoors. And I was like, dang, because I wanted to write a book just like this.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, she already did it, perfect. Yeah.
She already did. I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so good. Well, I will say too, like I'm not really I mean, I think another good one for me is like going for a walk with friends, right? So I can combine two things that I love. And she talks about community in her book as well.
Yeah.
So that way I can see a friend, catch up with them, but also just get moving. I'm not as, when it comes to my coping skills, I am a little bit more internal, right? So I tend to want to read a book, watch a show, draw. You know, I'm not always like itching to go for a hike or go outside. But it all became more clear once the lockdown happened, right? Because when I'm at school, working in elementary school, I'm outside all the time, watching the kids at recess, walking all over. And then I didn't have those things anymore. So I started to miss it more.
Mhm.
And then I think the buy-in for me as a parent too, and I think for other parents is, you know, your kids are just way more able to regulate their emotions, transition, focus, go to sleep when it's time to sleep if they've been outside too. And it's just that change of scenery. I think we all related to that also when we had a little baby, right? You just wanted to get outside. Even if you weren't an outdoor person, you're like, get me out of this house.
Yeah.
So you start to, at least for me, I had a renewed gratitude for all those things when all of this happened, because it's not necessarily my first thing that I go to for self-care, but I realized how much it was already worked in little things, being out of school and not working at home. And so when that was taken from me, I really appreciated more like the importance of getting out for a walk. And that's why I think everyone in the Bay Area, when the fires hit, were like, I can't take this, because even with COVID, we could always go outside for a walk. And then that hit and we were really trapped indoors. And then there's so much gratitude for just being able to go outside and breathe fresh air, and how that nourished us.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, because I'm always outdoors. Dude. I've got to be outside. Then once the smoke hit, like I think like 3 days in, I was like, I can't handle it, dude. I was like just dying, like 100%. Because then I'm also you know, a big advocate of earthing, like just going barefoot and feeling the earth and getting the earth's energy and everything like that, transferring those free electrons. And I actually have a earthing mat also for Elijah. So kind of just that mat. I use that for him while he's in school. So that actually, I think it also helps with his focus too, and kind of just getting all that earth goodness, you know, in a layman's terms.
What is the earthing mat?
Yeah, yes. So basically the earthing mat, it's so there's the actual like the outlet right here. So you got that hot wires. So like that's where electrical output comes, and then there's a ground area. So the ground wire goes into the earth, and then so basically there's a plug. Let me see if I have it here. Yeah. So basically it just attaches to the ground wire. Oh yeah, here. So this is the earthing mat. And then you got the ground here. This is just plastic. Yeah, so it goes into the ground wire, and then the ground wire goes into the earth. So basically now you're getting all the goodness from the earth, from the ground wire into this here, and then through here, and then onto the mat. So it's like you're actually earthing outside.
Oh, cool.
But now you're just transferring the energy from the ground wire up into the mat. So yeah, it's like it's basically your earthing inside. So
that's great for distance learning. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And then also for people who live in colder areas and stuff, you know, it's gonna be too cold to go barefoot in the snow. You know what I'm saying? You know,
right.
If you want to, you can. but
Yeah.
this is a powerful way for you to still get that earthing grounding benefits in the cold. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, and then I've actually I did kind of an experiment too, kind of just noticing his focus in general. Like the first like 2-3 weeks of schooling, like I noticed like his focus was out of whack and stuff. I think it was both him getting used to actually distance learning, and two, the actual grounding mat was actually helping him to feel
Right.
grounded. So yeah, it's super powerful. Like at first I was like, is this placebo effect stuff? But you know, I think it's maybe like 80-20.
Hey,
But
if it works,
yeah,
it works,
it works.
right?
It works. Yeah. So and then I was diving deeper. They actually have scientific researches to back all the stuff that they actually claim. And indigenous earth-based people have been talking about connection to the earth for millennia, right?
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
but
Well, it is so simple, right? Because we say grounding, we talk about that a lot, but it is literal, right? So it's, putting your feet in the grass and not having your shoes on, like literally hugging a tree, or even if you're inside, just lying down and letting the floor support you so you can relax. You're not doing any work, you feel supported, or putting both your feet on the ground during a work meeting instead of having your legs crossed. It's very literal, but it does make a shift in how you're doing.
Yeah. And then it's crazy how it's just shifting your body position and your physical state, like you said, like jumping up and down if you're feeling stress, or if you're getting into a presentation, or even just kind of getting yourself grounded, depending on how you I guess want to get ready for your presentation. Some people are like, okay, yeah, I want to get hyped. Some people are like, oh, I gotta stay grounded.
Right.
So,
Just depends. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's what I tell all my clients too. It's like it's just basically just parameters that's built around your life. You know what I'm saying? And then we're highlighting what you do well already, and then just keep on nourishing that, and then adding in whatever you want to add in. So then it's like, okay, I have my habits, but this is just a skeleton. You're going to be adding, the organs, the connective tissue, the brain, the nervous system, and you're the one that's going to be walking. So it's a powerful thing too, because us as parents, we only have so much like mental energy and space to be like, oh, okay, I really want to do this, but I got to think about the kids, I got to think about work, all this other stuff. So it's that's my one thing too. It's now getting deeper into this parent space of helping parents. Is like, don't be afraid to ask for help. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because even for me, like there's times where like, no, I got this, but inside it's like, you should, ask for some help. That's why like now, like I actually reached out to you, like you're actually helping me with all your posts and stuff. And I want to say thank you for doing what you're doing, because you're actually helping me. So thank you
so much. You've been so supportive. Well, I know I'm getting ready to put on my mom hat soon again, but I wanted to ask you, because I feel like this is an area you're so passionate about and you have so much knowledge. What are some things you found a lot of success with parents in terms of helping them move more or feel better in their bodies, or just anything you would want to share, with some people that maybe follow me about what you do?
Oh yeah. So basically, we're both aligned, dude. So we both kind of just discuss the things that I recommend for most parents. Is number one is just be easy on yourself.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of just do what you can, and realize you already have what you need within you to move better and feel better. Like you said, with the joy of movement or your positive high. Like if you don't know what to do, it's like, okay, what did you enjoy doing back when you were a child? It was like, oh, okay, cool. I like playing basketball. It's like, okay, let's get a basketball and let's start dribbling again. Just simple, just getting and dribbling, and then your kids are just, oh, a ball. Like kids love just
balls
and dribbling. Yeah, little balls and dribbling. And then there you can transfer that energy, and now you guys are going to be on this path towards one another. And if there's something that you really wanted to try, say yoga, or just anything in general, YouTube, Instagram, like there's so many resources, free resources for you to do, as far as like trying in movement, and also setting parameters for yourself. Like I call working out more of like movement or strength practice. So once you get into that mode of, okay, cool, I'm doing it because I enjoy it and I want to do it and I want to get better, it doesn't become like, oh, I have to work out. or or even like, oh, I have to work out for an hour. It's like, oh no,
Yes.
like what if you just set parameters of waking up, maybe 15 minutes earlier and just doing a quick yoga session
Right.
on YouTube. Yeah, so then there's like kind of just setting parameters and shifting your day and creating, becoming aware of your energy, like your energy awareness. Like, oh, okay, I know once the kids wake up, it's gonna be all right. Let's go. It's like, okay, how about for sure if they're sleeping, they're not gonna bother you. So
Right.
yeah, so wake up maybe even 5 minutes earlier. Just
Mhm.
and then use the Mel Robbins. She has the 5 4 3 2 1 lift off. So then
Oh,
there,
okay.
yeah. So like when the alarm hits, don't snooze. Go 5 4 3 2 1, and then just get up, and then already
Oh,
have
cool.
yeah.
Okay.
And then the night before already have your workout clothes or your yoga clothes ready. So five four three
I
two
think
one.
that's helpful.
Yeah.
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 So then there, you're gonna 5 4 3 2 1. You're gonna get up. Boom. Okay. You're kind of still groggy. Take your breath. Just change, and then you're gonna be already in that meditative state. So then
Mhm.
there you can get into your yoga, your stretches, or whatever it is, and then
Right.
eventually the 5 minutes can turn into, okay, how about next week let's try 10.
Right.
Oh, okay, how about next week let's try 15. And then there's like, oh, 15 minutes that's my cutoff. I can't wake up any earlier. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, dude, it's 15 minutes, Monday through Friday is better than what you've been doing. So there
Right.
it's kind of just tapping into what's already there, and
Mhm.
also just setting parameters for yourself as far as your movement meditation, your movement practice.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And I like thinking about it when you have some energy and it's not in the morning, right? So planning a little bit the night before to help set you up to be able to follow through the next day.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy just to, if you've had, to be tired and to just go back to sleep. So I like that. Those are some concrete things people can do.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm so glad we got to connect today. I'm so glad we're so aligned because I'm just so passionate about what movement can do for you and preventing burnout, but not, being part of that diet culture, coming at it from a totally different perspective of how it can help your relationship with your kids and it can help your mental wellness and creativity and all of that. So it's really cool to meet a fellow dad and parent that's so passionate about that too.
Yes. No, same. Yeah. Thank you so much for jumping on this Rooted Parent Talk story. I loved it. It was super organic. Yeah, I would love to jump on again, just talk story a little more. Yeah, so before we leave, I know we both got to put on our parent cap, but if anyone wants to work with you or if they're interested in anything that you're doing, how can they reach out to you?
Oh, sure. Well, I think follow me on Parent Self-Care, and from there you'll get a link to my new podcast called The Mental Mile, which is about parenthood and wellness and career. You can shop my ebook, which just got redesigned and I'm very excited about. And so I think that's the easiest way to reach me. And you can also link to my blog from there too.
Woo, all right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And
Christy.
you can link to everything through your link tree on your Instagram, right?
Okay. Yep.
It'll take you to your website.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. Right.
All
All
right.
right.
Well,
So, right there.
he's ready to go.
He's ready.
You ready for your playtime?
Ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right, Christy. Thank
Bye.
you, everyone.
Thank you
Thank
so
you guys
much.
for being here. Appreciate you again. Follow
Have a
Christy
great
here.
weekend.
Parent Self-Care. Aloha, mahalo, and yeah, talk to you later.
Look,
Yeah,
look,
bye.
wait, look.
Oh, yeah. Whoa, there you go. All right.